Today I'm going to tell you who will win the 2020 NBA Finals in the Orlando bubble. Now I hope that you watched the first 5 videos in this 6-part series as I broke down my top 5 title contenders. We went over the Clippers, the Bucks, the Lakers, the Raptors, and even the Houston Rockets. Now if you missed any of those videos or if you're new to the channel, make sure that you watch this video till the end and I'll go ahead and link that playlist for you to check out. Let's get into it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're new on this channel, you're going to be getting my passionate and in-depth analysis on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics. Listen, I'm a ballaholic. I'm absolutely addicted to basketball. And I've got an opinion just like everybody else. But if you like opinions that are backed by facts, then go ahead and make sure that you hit that like button. Also, be sure that you subscribe to the channel and make sure that you tap that notification bell so that you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get this video kicked off, as always, go down to the comment section for the comment of the day. Let me know, who do you think is going to win the 2020 NBA Finals in the Orlando bubble? First off, let me start by welcoming all the new subscribers to the channel. Welcome to the Ballaholic Nation. Listen, go ahead and strap on your seatbelts, sit back, and go ahead and enjoy the ride. Okay, so this is it. This is the video that you've all been waiting for. Time to break down the top 5 title contenders and give you my pick on who will win the 2020 NBA title in the Orlando bubble. First off, let's go over a quick review of my top 5 teams that I feel that qualify to be legit NBA title contenders. Now in the East, we have the number 1 seed, Milwaukee Bucks. And then we have the number 2 seeded Toronto Raptors. Now out West, it's the number 1 seeded LA Lakers. We also have the number 2 seeded LA Clippers. And then the surprise team was the Houston Rockets, who currently are the number 6 seed in the standings. Now, each one of these teams, as we know, they check a lot of the boxes that I look for when I'm trying to identify who's a true NBA title contender. These 5 teams have the roster construction that fits exactly what past NBA champions have had. Teams like the Boston Celtics, on the other hand, they don't have a good enough front court when you consider that they don't have a power forward or center on their roster that has made an all-star or an all-NBA team before. You gotta keep in mind, every single team that's ever won a championship in the history of the game had that in order to be able to win that championship. Also, a team like the Denver Nuggets. This is a team that doesn't have multiple guys that played together this year or last year that made the All-Star team together. You gotta remember now, every team that's won the championship over the last 15 years, they had not 1, but 2 All-Stars that played together. Then you have a team like the Sixers, a team that I really liked before the season started, but this is a team that truly disappointed me all season long, and there may have to be a change coming this offseason that we'll get to in upcoming videos. But at the end of the day, the Sixers didn't get it done, and realistically, they don't have a chance to get to that top 3 seed, which is really what you need to be. Gotta keep in mind, 39 out of the last 40 NBA teams that won the championship, they were all a top 3 seed or higher. Now, a team that I didn't talk much about was the Miami Heat. Now, they actually check a lot of the boxes that the championships of past have checked off. However, they're just too young. They're too young and too inexperienced of a team to win it all this year. And currently, they're 10th in the NBA in overall net rating. And as I've said before, every team that's ever won a championship has been a top 8 team in overall net rating since they started tracking that stat 23 years ago. So that leaves us with the top 5, the creme de la creme, the cream of the crop. So let's go ahead and start in the East with the 2 teams that I have, which is Milwaukee Bucks and the Toronto Raptors. Listen, to me, these 2 are the favorites, hands down. And to be honest with you, this will be an amazing Eastern Conference Finals, a rematch of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, where last year we saw that the Milwaukee Bucks went up 2-0 on the Raptors before Kawhi Leonard, he led them boys back to win the next 4 games and to go on to win the title. Well, as we know, the Claw, he's out in LA now, but the Raptors, they definitely are still legit. The Bucks team, just like last year, they've been steamrolling teams through the regular season. I mean, they've been actually kind of historically good. One of the best teams that we've seen in the regular season. And Giannis, he looks like he's on his way, headed to another regular season MVP yet again. Now, this Bucks team, I'm gonna be honest with you, they appear to be exactly what a championship team needs. They seem to have gotten better since actually losing to the Raptors in last year's playoffs. This is a team that I think had made some good additions, adding on guys like Wesley Matthews. I think Giannis taking his game to the next level, adding a better jump shot, has definitely helped them to go ahead and try to take that next step. But this is the problem though. The Bucks showed that last year they showed that they struggled on the road in the playoffs as they lost all 3 of their road games that they played against the Toronto Raptors. See, keep this in mind. Role players, they play much better when they're at home. When they have that crowd is behind them, that energy that's in the arena, that's rooting for them to every shot, every loose ball, everything that is done right, they kind of get energized by that. Role players really typically need that. And they've been able to have that comfort of being able to play in those familiar settings, and it gives them that courage that they need to go out there and perform on the court. Think about this. This year, the Bucks have had by far the best home record at 28-3. See, all teams need role players, so I'm not diminishing Milwaukee or trying to separate them. But Milwaukee, they're one of the few teams that is so dependent on their role players because truly everything revolves around Giannis to get shots and create shots for others. But listen, he's really that one guy who, as we said earlier, has the highest usage in the NBA. And listen, him being that only superstar, he truly has to carry all of that load. I mentioned before, there's only one team over the last 40 years that has ever won a title having the number 1 player in usage, and that was the Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. The problem for the Bucks is that Giannis, as good as he is, he's just not MJ, man. And the Raptors, they saw last year that by walling off Giannis, making him take those tough contested shots, or even kicking it out to those role players that truly aren't as confident or as efficient when it's playing away from Milwaukee, that could be a recipe for success for the Raptors. Now, Nick Nurse, to me, I'm going to be honest with you, he's one of the best coaches in the game. Not just up-and-coming coaches. He's one of the best coaches in the game. We saw him run last year a dominant 2 against the Warriors last year in the finals. I expect to see a lot more amazing schemes against this Milwaukee Bucks team this year. So I'm picking the Raptors, the Toronto Raptors, to upset the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals in a tough, hard-fought 7 games. Now, even though Giannis, I think, is going to put up monster numbers, and he's definitely going to be the best player in that series, Siakam, Lowry, and Van Fleet, I feel that they're just going to be more consistent of a big 3 than what Middleton and Bledsoe will be able to provide in aid to what Giannis needs as the main superstar on that team. Now, let's go ahead and move over to the West Coast, hands, which was going to take the ball out of Paul George and, more importantly, Kawhi Leonard's hands. Then you have to add on the fact that Lou Williams is a low percentage shooter with the shoot-first mentality. Listen, man, call me crazy, but I think that this layoff that we've had, I think this layoff actually benefits the Rockets more than the Clippers. The Clippers, I think, needed the opportunity to be able to go out there and get more reps, to be able to go out there and get more cohesion on the court together. Minimizing the amount of regular season games, I don't think that helps the Clippers, a team that have been low managing all season. The Rockets, on the other hand, a team that has 2 stars that play a lot of minutes, for them to be able to rest their stars, I think this actually benefits the Rockets. I truly think that the Rockets are going to have an edge over the Clippers. Remember, there is no home court disadvantage for the Rockets as it would have been on a regular NBA setup. There's more time to rest Harden so he can be fresh to terrorize defenses. I think this layoff really hurt the Clippers, man. I think they were just starting to gel. They were just starting to really get things clicking, and they were playing their best basketball of the season, and they have finally gotten healthy. So in this dynamic matchup, I'm going with the Rockets to upset the Clippers in round 2. Listen, I know that's not the obvious choice. That's not the choice that most quote-unquote experts are going with. And it truly destroys the highly anticipated Lakers versus Clippers matchup that we've all been waiting to see. But listen, man, that's 2020 for you. Absolutely nothing has gone to plan. So that leaves us with the Lakers versus the Rockets in the Western Conference Final. And once again, this will be an absolute sight to see. However, I think that this time, that small ball lineup, it's not going to be nearly as effective against the Lakers as it will be against the Clippers. See, the same problem I think that Montrezl Harrell will have as far as guarding on the three-point line and then trying to get back and rebound or cover the rim, I also think that Lakers centers, they're going to have a trouble with that as well. JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, I truly think they're going to be rendered useless in this series. I don't think they're going to be big factors as they will be in other rounds of the playoffs. James Harden and Russell Westbrook, they're just too good, man. They're absolutely too dynamic of scorers in ISO situations that's going to allow those bigs to be able to stay on the court. Especially when you factor in that on the other end of the court, JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard, just like a Montrezl Harrell for the Clippers, they're not capable three-point shooters to be able to spread the Rockets out. Listen, man, at the end of the day, I think that the importance in as far as an offensive option and trying to be consistent to pound the ball inside, that's going to be the key to beating this Rockets team. I don't think you want to fall in love with trying to shoot a lot of threes, trying to, score from the outside. That's falling into the hands of the Houston Rockets. You have to literally pound the ball inside and kill them down low. That's where a guy like Anthony Davis comes in. He's a true unicorn in the NBA. There's not many 7-footers that can consistently dominate on the inside and the outside on both ends of the court. Davis is good enough defensively where he could play the center position for the Lakers, as he's done a lot this year, and he can switch. If he's switching to Harden, or let's say he's switching to Russell Westbrook, he's not a defensive liability. Anthony Davis is in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. And I think he has a quick enough feet to where he can guard a Rockets 5-man, because a lot of times they like to put PJ Tucker or Robert Covington in the corner to try to spread the floor as much as possible. I think he can guard them in the corners and still be able to cover if a guy gets beat off the dribble to meet him at the rim. Listen, it may sound crazy, but I think that Anthony Davis is the perfect big man to play against this Houston Rockets small ball lineup. Then, of course, on offense, he's an absolute matchup nightmare for the Rockets, man. I'm talking about inside and outside. Russ and Harden, listen, they're going to go bananas. There's nobody that the Lakers have, especially with Avery Bradley being out. There's nobody on the Lakers that can handle Russell Westbrook or James Harden. No one. Danny Green can't do it. KCP, Alex Caruso, nobody. Now, keep this in mind though. The key to it all, the key is going to be LeBron James. He's the true X factor that is just too good and has the talent around him to make it past this year's Rockets team. LeBron's 6'8", 250. So basically, he's bigger than any starter on the Rockets that's going to put on the court. Not just starter. Other than Tyson Chandler, he's bigger than every single other Houston Rocket that'll step on the court. So not only do the Rockets have to deal with Anthony Davis and his size advantage down low and inside and outside, they also got to do the same thing with the King. Listen, originally, I had the Lakers beating the Rockets over in 6 games. But I'm going to be honest with you. With not having home court advantage over this Houston Rockets team and losing Avery Bradley, I have to switch things up, man. It's going to be a much closer series, and I got the Lakers still winning, but it's going to be an epic 7-game battle. And then there were 2. Not the finals that most would expect it, but this is the finals that I'm predicting, barring any major injury to either one of these teams. LA versus Toronto, Siakam and the Raptors against LeBron and the Lakers. This will be a hard-fought, scrappy finals. Remember, this Raptors team beat the Lakers back in November in LA 113-104, when the Lakers were healthy and the Raptors were playing without 2 of their key pieces in Kyle Lowry and Serge Ibaka. Now, that was the only meeting between these 2 teams, and yes, it was a very long time ago. But what that game showed is that these Raptors are for real. Teams that showed that they could have major road success this season, they have an advantage, I think, in this Orlando bubble playoff style. Listen, there's no real home court. So that's going to neutralize a lot of these teams that rely so much on playing on their own home court in front of their own fans. The Lakers and the Raptors both have been phenomenal this year on the road. The Lakers have the best road record in the NBA at 26-6, while the Raptors are 3rd in the NBA on the road at 23-9. Also, these 2 teams have the most players on their roster that have championship experience. That too, I think, is going to be very critical in this bubble format. See, when these 2 teams meet in the finals, how's it going to play out? Unfortunately, as much as I like this Laker team, and as much as I like this and love this Raptor team, I don't think it's going to be a close series at all, man. Listen, I love the Raptors, and I truly think that they've been underrated for years. Last year's title, it seemed to justify the moves that they've been making as one of the best GMs in the league, Masai Ujiri, and one of the best, not just up-and-coming coaches, but one of the best coaches in the game. Nick Nurse really put his stamp on in the NBA. This Raptors team is deep. They're very talented, and they play with a lot of heart. However, I don't think it's going to be enough to knock off this star-studded Lakers team, man. LeBron, listen, he's always been the kryptonite for these Raptors, and I don't expect that to change. There seems to be just like a mental block that some of these Raptors like Lowry and Ibaka have anytime they see number 23 laced up across from them. Now, as great as I think Siakam will be one day, I don't think that right now he's ready to become the best player on an NBA championship team. Now, maybe in the future. This Raptor team it's kind of relatively young, to be honest with you. And next year, I think they're going to be elite yet again. But come on, man. We're talking about LeBron James paired with Anthony Davis. That's just too much for any team to handle, let alone the Raptors, who don't even have a player that anybody would consider to be a bona fide top 10 player in the world. Listen, this Lakers team, it's not just LeBron and Davis. This team is stacked. And yes, Avery Bradley is out, and that's going to definitely hurt their defense. But I think their offense, I think it's going to actually become better. Got in mind, the Lakers, they were 13-1 in games that Avery Bradley didn't play in the season. And as good of a three-point shooter as he is, Bradley's nowhere near as good or even as consistent of a shooter as KCP is, and he's likely going to be the person that's going to start in Avery Bradley's spot. Also, you got the X factor coming off the bench. Alex Caruso. He's a guy that's going to see even more minutes, which means more time with LeBron. And that two-man combo of LeBron and Alex Caruso, it's been one of the best, not one of the best, it's been the best 1-2 combo as far as a plus-minus basis all season long. Then you have the true X factors for the Lakers. Guys that have NBA championship experience, but some say a little long in the tooth. Guys like Rajon Rondo and Danny Green. I've said all season, these two guys especially have been pacing themselves as they are vets who are just waiting for the playoffs. Listen, in case you're not aware, there's a such thing that's called playoff Rondo. Look it up. Listen, each one of his 5 major statistical categories, that's points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, every statistical category goes up for Rondo from the regular season when the playoffs comes. Every one. Now, if that wasn't enough, the Lakers have some true wild cards coming off their bench as well. Dion Waiters and potentially another former champion in J.R. Smith if they decide to sign him. Listen, if you got those two guys coming off the bench, and either one of those guys, I'm talking about either one of these guys can have at least one game in each series that can win you a game. But once again, as impressed as I am with this Lakers team, and even the Raptor squad, I can't stress enough the importance of LeBron James getting a legit top 5 to a top 7 player in the game in Anthony Davis. I think they truly are going to be surprised by just how dominant he's going to be in these playoffs on both ends of the floor. You got to remember, in his days in New Orleans, when he didn't really have the spotlight on him. So he was shining, but a lot of people weren't seeing it because he wasn't in a large market. Davis has career playoff averages of 30.5 points, 12.7 rebounds, and an insane 2.5 blocks per game. The man has led the NBA in blocks in both times that he's made the postseason. Listen, man, it's going to be tough. I mean, how do you beat a healthy, a rested, and a motivated LeBron James, especially when he has elite talent around him and he's got basically the overall team that he has around him? How do you stop that? Listen, let me know in the comment section below, who do you think is going to win the 2020 NBA Finals in the Orlando bubble? Listen, if you missed any of my previous videos in this series where I broke down why the Raptors, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Bucks, or even the Houston Rockets could win the championship, go ahead and click this box right here. You can check out this playlist. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure that you click this video and this link up top. Listen, I appreciate you for watching the video, but until next time, make sure you stay safe in the streets, and remember, no justice, no peace.